Hello, and welcome to the first episode of What Really Grinds My Gears. Those metal wheelie things. I'm just playing with you. So one of the things that's really been annoying me lately is when you get on a bus and you have a group of friends, say 3 girls for example, who insist on taking up the entire 8 back seats. And they do this by having one sit on that row, one sit on that row, one sit on that row, and dump their little handbags on another row. So in total, they're taking up 8 seats. Like, if you're so close and really good friends, why are you not sitting next to each other? Another thing that really gets at me is when you're in a taxi and they look over to you and they're chewing gum. Chewing gum, I don't mind. It's when they're talking to you and all you can hear is, "So where are you going, love?" It's just you. And when you can't tell what they're saying because they're too busy going, yeah. Good to you, Rosie. Excuse me whilst I just text a million people and put my hands off the wheel. And do you mind if I also put our lives in danger by not putting my own seatbelt on and smoking a cigarette whilst I drive? I get it, it's your car, but you're also a taxi driver, so as a customer, that's, not cool. Another thing that gets me about taxi drivers is probably me being a little bit socially anxious here. It's when you've just finished a long ass shift at your night job and they insist on asking you how your shift went and you're just like, I feel like shit. Is it not obvious by my vacant stare and the fact that I smell really badly of steak and sweat? But of course I put on a smile and I'm all like, well, it's been a busy one, just can't wait to get home. And then they insist on asking you about the food that you do. And you're like, well, that's great, I love to promote where I work, but also 2 a.m. in the morning, it's probably the time when you just want to go to bed, so you feel like saying, the internet is there for a reason. Google that shit up for yourself, mate. I'm just kidding. Ask me anything you like. It's not like I'm a vegetarian or anything. I'm kidding. I mean, I am a vegetarian. I do actually cook a really mean ass steak, to be fair. Because I have actually worked on a grill before. And I'm actually a really good cook. Anyway, I'm going off topic a bit here. Another thing that really gets at me is people who put their noses into other people's business. People who interrupt someone else's conversation and assume that the entire world revolves around them. We've all met people like that. You just kind of have to go like, come at me then, bruv, if you're going to hit me, do it. Don't just say it because you make yourself look pathetic. Quite frankly, I think there's a little bit of jealousy there, but whatever. You can't all be me, right? Look at my little cute face, I'm adorable. And a little bit sarcastic. Another thing of which I was talking about that also angers me is people who assume I read the 14 times because I believe every single word it says, which is quite funny because anyone who actually archives a 14 times like myself would know that Charles Fort was actually a skeptic and he liked it because it was interesting and it's okay to have a broad mind and an open mind, but science and common sense always takes place. I'm sorry guys, but I don't believe that the Egyptians saw aliens in the sky, and I don't believe the Loch Ness Monster existed. When things have been proven to be a hoax, yes, it's nice to have, some false belief, but don't just assume I'm on the same page as you. It's cool if you've got your opinion, just don't make those assumptions about me. Actually ask, and just don't assume it's not cool, Another thing that also gets me is when people say stuff like psycho, crazy, you're fat. Like, these are insults because they're really not. There's nothing wrong with being fat. And crazy is actually a slangular term that's supposed to be offensive for someone with mental health issues. It's ridiculous. Would you go to a diabetic and go, ha ha, you can't have sugar, ha ha, you sugar eater, needer, not needer, whatever. It's pathetic. Why would you attack someone for apparently being ill if they are ill? You're just saying it to be dramatic. You just look pathetic. Psychopathy is a genuine diagnosis, and trust me, the type of people who get called psycho are usually over emotional. Need I point out, having known a psychopath, that psychopaths do not feel emotion, and psychopaths would be hidden, they would not be obvious. So whatever you've seen on movies or read in books or whatever your wild imagination wants you to think, it's bullshit. So if you actually cared to be ignorant and care about others, you would know that. Another thing that gets me is people who assume that panic attacks only work one way or another. There's an entire society in a health organisation based on mental health issues, including anxiety and depression. There are many things that fit within the element of anxiety. It doesn't take much to do research on it. Instead of making assumptions, actually ask, because you have no idea how uncomfortable you are making a person feel. If you're that type of person who makes people feel uncomfortable, you really need to look at yourself, because it's not cool. Don't assume that what other people are saying is true. Actually ask and accept the answer, because it's wrong not to accept the answer. Because quite frankly, if you can't accept an answer, that shows just how immature you are.